Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a little bit louder than I think I will, because sometimes I can get a little carried away. I'm going to make music that demands to be heard. That when you're in the room and at the show, you are going to go through complete and total sensory oppression. I've been kicked out of bars. I've had people threaten to beat me up after gigs. I have broken my equipment. I have broken other people's equipment. I've made people cry. The one time my wife went to a private show, I freaked her out to where she thought I was a completely different person. When I started Leg Market, I was in a very negative headspace. Just dropped out of college. I wanted to channel my frustrations in the world. And I liked the concept of picking up an instrument that you don't know how to play and just making sounds with it, and using those sounds as a building block for music. Not notes, melodies, rhythms, harmonies, but sound itself. And so I was hanging out with some friends that were talking about booking a show in their backyard. And I was like, I'll do it. And I had written some lyrics. So I just like screamed these lyrics for about 5 minutes, rolled around on the floor, basically throwing a temper tantrum. And the moment I finished, it was this weird moment of clarity. Like I just let something out that was boiling for a long time. All my frustrations, all my pain, all my guilt, I just got it off of me. It helped cure whatever social anxiety I had. And it was this feeling of just like shock and awe that I saw in their faces. I was like, this is what I want to do.
When I first heard it, I was impressed, honestly. Like, it was very impressive and like jarring and just like nothing I had ever heard before, and effective at what it was trying to do, which is just be as scary as possible. It was just working perfect.
To me, it's not even music. It's just noise and annoying. It drives me nuts. He loves it. It calms him down. It makes me like I'm on the roof and I want to hurt people. And so when he would play that music and he would try to force me to like it, we would get into some heated arguments over it, because it was like, you don't understand. This is hurting. This is physically hurting me.
But for me, it's not art until an audience member responds to it, positively or negatively. We're just looking for some type of response, and not negative in a bad performance. Negative in, yeah, I just didn't like that piece. It didn't speak to me. That's fine. Why didn't it speak to you?
The way I describe Leg Market is that I am trying to communicate a beautiful Triste in an ugly exterior. I do love when people are actually feeling the music when I'm performing live. They may not understand what the heck I'm screaming, but there's something about it. You can't just ignore. You can't just pass off. Like, you have to have an opinion of it. You have to either hate it or love it.
He's trying to evoke a reaction. He wants it to be different, and he wants to be controversial, and he wants to make people think.
Like pop music, it's like easy to understand. Like, it doesn't distinguish itself from like anything in the world. It's just the most generic, on-brand, low-hanging fruit that you can create. And then you have like power electronics, which is like a complete antithesis of like easy. The music is hard to listen to, it's hard to make. And if people think it's easy to make, I advise people to, by all means, go buy some pedals and a mixer and try it and find out that it's not as easy as people think it is.
What I really like about older films, older music, is there's this sort of Wild West feeling. I feel like you can only get it through an analog medium, because you don't have samples of every instrument in existence. You have what you have. I feel like digital technology is a prison in too many options. So when you have too many options, you're going to have too many people that want to start out looking through YouTube videos and tutorials, how to do the most common application. So there's choice paralysis, and you end up going for the easiest thing that it is to make.
Another thing that's a big difference, back in the old days, you were limited to a certain number of tracks. On a tape recorder, it had 24 tracks. That's it. And so you had to use those and do what you needed to do, and once they were all filled up, you couldn't add any more stuff. You just had to mix it and you were done. Nowadays, with computers, unlimited tracks. And there's been some projects that have more than 300 tracks that I'm working on, you know, just throw one track after another. And so that consequently that makes people just spend more and more time on stuff. And so I can see where it would seem like you would never know when to stop.
Whereas if you actually know how to work an analog mixer, how to work an analog synthesizer, how to mix something onto tape, you're actually able to rake the rules of the technology to suit your creative needs. And that's kind of where what I have learned that has reflected more in my music is my ability to let go of control. It allowed me to not put myself in a box. And that's my critical flaw, I think, is I don't want others to put me in a box, but I am the one most likely to do that. While I like the power that Lake Market gives me, I don't need it as much. My life is 100% improved. I mean, I got married. I'm not living with my parents, and I want to sort of just move on to doing different things.
Pete has different projects with different people. And he does two different types of music, basically. He does his noise. Then he also does his ambient music. Now that I enjoy listening to. It's very soothing. It's kind of like the opposite of motion.
Latent image is the natural evolution of Lake Market, whereas Lake Market is trying to terrify and isolate. It's more encompassing you like a hug. It's still weighty and overbearing, but of joy and healing.
Kenneth Kovats III.
There's always a need in me, maybe the inner child that's still hurting, that's hiding inside me, that wants to be accepted, wants people to understand where I'm coming from, and wants my music to be liked and appreciated for what it is. But I don't let that desire affect what I do.
It's almost like Kenneth thinks differently than I do. He's more of a creative guy, where I'm more like just kind of like make it sound high fidelity and full and it's commercial,
Yeah.
top 40 or whatever it is.
I actually try to avoid all that.
People do this because it's personal to them and not because it's meant to be understood by like the general public audience. Experiencing is better than understanding, and they don't need to understand it if they feel it.
I mean, I don't know if music is for the end user, the listener, or is it meant for the musician? I heard an interesting quote the other day from Wynton Marsalis. Somebody asked him essentially that question, and instantly Wynton said, well, it's for the listener, but the player is the first listener.
And you can either like it or you don't, but you're thinking about it. You know, you hate him or you love him, but you're thinking about him. And to him, that doesn't matter. Like, it is purely for himself.
Kenny wants to do what Kenny wants to do at all times. He's always been like that from the time he was a little kid. When he was playing with the other kids, he always had to be the hero. He always had to be the lead character. He never would trade off. It was always whatever he wanted to do. And you could either go along with him and join in or just not play with him because he wasn't about to change. You know, it just had to be his way.
Thank you.